I think people are sleeping on Wichita, and it's like these people don't want Wichita State to go to the Final Four, because I'm looking in their region right here, the Midwest. I see Kentucky here. I see Louisville here. I see Duke here. I see Michigan here. I'm like, oh, they don't want Wichita State to go. But I got news for you, Skip. I think they're going to go. I'm going to sit there and say, playing angry, playing mad, all of that stuff that they've been talking about all year long. They got to back it up. And I'm going to assume you're 34-0. That is not a fluke. I'm picking Wichita State to come out of the Midwest. I look at the West region. I got to tell you something right here. Arizona is the only team that stands out with me. I'm not sold on Oklahoma or Oklahoma State for that matter. I mean, they had their doldrums, but they got it together. But I'm sorry, there's just something that's missing from Oklahoma State. I like Marcus Smart a lot. Well, he's still got to improve his jump shot, as you and I discussed. I'm not sure about him. I'm looking at the West region, and I got to tell you something. Wisconsin is physical. Mm-hmm. They'll slow it down.
They will.
They'll get up in you. And listen, Bo Ryan's got something to prove. I mean, you've been there long enough. You can't be going out in the first or second round. You got to make some noise in the NCAA tournament. I believe this is the year they do it. I'm picking Wisconsin to come out of the West region.
Not bad.
Let's go to the South. As I look at the South, look, man, I'm looking for an excuse to pick against Florida. I'm thinking about Shaka Smart and VCU. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know how they try to play 40 minutes of hell, trying to emulate, Nolan Richardson from back in the day at Arkansas. I'm looking at Pittsburgh, who's nothing to sleep on. UCLA, they could be asleep as well. They've got some talent up in there. The Lobos, as the number 7th seed, I wouldn't sleep on them either. But you know something? Kansas is the team that I'm looking at, because I think Embiid is going to be back.
Do you?
I think he's got a chance to come back. Now, obviously, if he doesn't come back, then you look at Florida. But if he comes back with Wiggins playing the way that he's been playing, I think they got a shot, and I would pick Kansas to come out of the South. And as a result of that, I'm looking at the East. And, of course, Virginia was very, very impressive this year. Very proud of the job Bennett has done. They look really good. But I'm an Izzo fan, man. I can't go against my man Izzo. I think Izzo, if I had a son, rather, I'd want him to play for Izzo. I love me some Tom Izzo.
You do?
And I think that Michigan State is going to find a way. So I've got Michigan State, I've got Kansas, I've got Wichita State, and obviously Wisconsin.
This is how I fall in my picks. If you tell me that after this weekend in St. Louis, that Kansas gets through unscathed, and I think they're going to have to beat New Mexico in their second round.
That's going to be a tough one.
Tough game.
That's right.
Without Embiid.
That's right.
But if Embiid does come back, as you say, and he comes back, let's say 90 to 100% back, I'm switching my pick. I want this caveat here. I want this disclaimer on my pick.
I can give you
because,
that.
I've got Embiid going #1 overall in the draft, even though I would recommend to him to go back to Bill Self for one more year of seasoning and, so to speak, schooling in Lawrence, Kansas. Right. But if he comes back, I don't think anybody can beat this team. I would pick them to win it all with Embiid. Without Embiid, I got them losing to Florida in the regional final. So right away, I got Florida, a #1 seed, getting through. Now, here's what shocked me. It took one of our producers, Kevin Reeder, to point this out to me today when I told him my Final Four picks. He said, wait a second. You're picking all the chalk. You got all 1 seeds. I said, I do. I feel like I'm picking upset city here, because every team I picked, it seemed like I'm having to make a case for them to win their region. But I am picking Wichita State like you are, and I got angry the way they play angry last night. Nobody had them in a Final Four. Now both of us, and I don't talk to you before the show about our picks, right? No, I had no idea where you were going, because I'm not sure you had any idea where you're going, but that's okay, because you just picked Wichita State, and I second that emotion. In fact, I love their draw. I don't care that they're in this bloodbath of a region, because I think that serves their purpose. I think it plays right into Greg Marshall's MO here. Chip on shoulder. I think their chip just got to be boulder size, because the selection committee, as you said, it looks like it's saying, no, 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 you can't get there. So you have to go through all those teams, Kentucky and Louisville and Duke, to get to the Final Four. And I think they will. That brings me to the East. And that #1 seed sitting up there, and you mentioned this, I watched the whole game against a team. I thought you were going to go Duke because you do love you some Jabari Parker.
I love
and
Jabari
so I'm
Parker.
surprised you didn't go Duke. But Virginia took it to Duke from tip-off yesterday.
They did.
They are veteran. They are – listen, this coach is another rising superstar in Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
This guy, son of Dick Bennett, is he has charisma. He has command of his team. To me, it's one of the best, if not the best, defensive teams in the country because it gives up the fewest points.
Right.
So I've got them going all the way, and I got them beating Iowa State, who I love that team, Fred Hoiberg's team also, but I got them beating Iowa State to get to the Final Four. Then what's my last one? Arizona. I just can't pick against Arizona because I can't make a better case. Who'd you pick there? You had Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. I thought about it, thought hard about it. Arizona is the best overall defensive team in college basketball. Arizona not only has the Pac-12 Player of the Year, it has the Freshman of the Year in Aaron Gordon along with Nick Johnson. So it's hard to bet against that. Even though they stumbled late, I've learned over the years in my picks, mostly disregard the conference tournaments. Now, again, I'm arguing against myself about Virginia versus Duke. But again, Virginia won the ACC. They won the regular season and the postseason tournament for the first time since 1976. They showed you all year since their turnaround in late December, they are nothing but legit. So I'm going with all #1 seeds, and I feel like I'm going completely against the grain. And I'll go right out on record. I've got Wichita State playing Florida in the final, in the national final, and I'm going to go with Florida just on senior leadership. They start 4 seniors, and they're all really good college players.